All right, welcome back to the show. Let's finish strong here. One of my favorite people in real estate, I've known this guy for quite some time. He's been in the business, in a family-oriented business for 20 years. If you want to know what's happening in our market today, you got to know someone who has been through different cycles. Tim Skoglin, with 20 years experience, joins us in studio. Good to have you here, Tim.
Good to see you, Craig.
Love having you on the radio show. All right, so Tim comes on KCBQ, zero preparation. It's more just back and forth about the market, and we always tend to comment that there's 20,000 real estate licenses, and that tends to infuriate us at times because it's an industry that people get into. There's a lot of misinformation around that versus guys like you really separate yourself from the pack. But it's so important that we make educated decisions. This is a very volatile market. We're seeing triple-digit swings in the stock market. Yeah. Housing, you're hearing things now. This is good media sensationalism. You're in real estate bubble, and if not, overheating. Tell us, what do you see as the pulse of the real estate market right now?
Well, I think some of the things we have to remember is how tight banks have been with financing.
Yep.
35% of our transactions since the recovery began end of 2011 have been all cash. So it's 35% of our transactions have no mortgage on the property.
It's wild.
The others have been very heavily scrutinized, and that's been something our clients have been talking about. Is I have to jump through all these hoops. I have the money, I have the savings, I have the credit. What's the problem here? Well,
it's not common sense lending,
no.
Right? You really do have to verify a lot. I mean, I call it like a recipe. It needs all the ingredients. If you're missing one, it could throw everything off. But it can be a pretty frustrating experience if you're buying and you know you have the money and can afford it.
Yeah, but
that's the game.
Yeah, prepare clients going in so they understand this is where it's going to be and understand what's good about that. And that's that the people that are obtaining financing today are qualifying for the loan, that they barring some catastrophic hardship, they're going to be able to continue to make their payment, good times and bad, and weather different things that come their way along.
Yeah, no, and let's use the 2008 perspective, right? You could fog a mirror and get a loan. How'd things turn out there, right?
Yeah.
So when there's more stringent financing, when your mortgage banker is asking for more, just know that that's actually a really good thing. So that to me is where that diminishes this thought that real estate's in a bubble. We bubbled before because loose financing, 125% loans. They had loans that were literally called liar loans, where you could lie about your income in hindsight.
Yeah, I remember being in I did financing and sales for 16 to 20 years. And for that first 16 years, the banks would come and give presentations about new loan products. And towards the end of the run, maybe 04, 05, one of the local big banks came to us and said, hey, listen, we have this new $1 million program. You don't need to have a job. We're going to check your credit, 6 months of payment in the bank, you get up to $1 million. And I, of course, raised my hand and I said, well, what happens in month 7? And they said, don't worry about that. The house will appreciate it enough.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll just refinance it and off we go. And that was where I started seeing a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I'll never forget, I saw a flyer, this must have been 2005, and it was a picture. I'll just say it was Countrywide, who no longer exists. They imploded.
Right.
And Countrywide had a flyer that was a picture of a cartoon reaching into a couch cushion and saying, you can qualify with the pennies in your couch.
That's about what it was.
That's when if that didn't set the alarm off.
Right.
But so anyway, I think the point is in this market, you have to put money down. You have to have skin in the game. You have to have good credit. You have to have verifiable income. That's a great thing.
It's great.
I just went through the process of buying a house again, and I thought it was awesome. You know, I didn't take that long. We got everything that was needed and got it done. Let's get more local here.
Sure.
So let's look at Stonecrest, Mission Valley. I am really intrigued with Mission Valley. Before we go into Stonecrest, what do you think about what's happening? There's a lot of building going on there, but there's also a lot of cool stuff. I mean, they're building a new Sinopolis there, fire station, some really cool stuff happening.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, the infrastructure is going in to support what they see in terms of residential demand in that area. And, gas prices have trickled up, and people want shorter commutes. Our freeways seem to be getting busy at 2:30 in the afternoon, which is great as a real estate broker. Yeah. More people coming and staying. But
I love the traffic. I host a radio show at 6 p.m. every night. Traffic is a good thing.
Yeah.
Kidding, guys.
But so I think that you're seeing that demand for that central hub, that area that's close to everything, close to the beaches, close to downtown, close to the airport, and then having the infrastructure fill in around it. Makes it even a better place to be able to settle. Walkability. We never used to have walkable scores on websites in the MLS, and now we look at what proximity are we to entertainment and grocery stores and restaurants and all those types of things.
The game's changed.
Creates a community. It's not just an isolated island that you're living in. It's being able to enjoy life around where you're living.
They're doing some really cool things in Mission Valley. Really, I mean, from residential to commercial, social. Stonecrest. So this is a specific area. I mean, we're getting hyper local here. This is an area that Tim and his wife, Christine, have dominated for many, many years. Tell us about Stonecrest.
Yeah, so it was a neighborhood that was started, it was an old rock quarry. And so it's right off the Arrow Drive in 15, just north of Qualcomm Stadium and Friars Road. And they built 6 little subdivisions, started in '98, finished in 2000. And each little subdivision has its own floor plans, price points, and dynamics, but all share a common clubhouse and a little secondary pool facility at the bottom of the cul-de-sac. It's a dead end, so anybody that's there is either visiting someone that lives there or lives there themselves. So it's nice and secure, and it's been neat. It was where I purchased my first home. I was working downtown, and it was a nice way to stay close to what I was working on down here with a developer. And then, but not be too far out. And that's I looked at it.
Kind of a funny story about Stonecrest. In a former life, I had a mortgage banking license, ran a mortgage company, and there was a client that came through our office, and she was in Stonecrest, and she was buying another house in Stonecrest.
Yeah.
It was the most bizarre thing. She said, yeah, I just want to get a nicer home. I love the area.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool, little quaint little area.
It is. And people, we were close to 325 sales in there. So Christine sold 110 new for one of the builders.
Wow.
For one of the subdivisions. And then we just crossed the 207 mark on the resale side. So, but yes, and that's how we've done it, is we've had 2 people in the townhouses meet each other, move up to a little patio home, have a couple kids, move up to the big house. And so they're able to move up and down the scale because of the product line that's in there.
You know, and this speaks to a bigger point, a question that I get all the time. And by the way, if you have any questions about real estate, Mission Valley specifically, Tim Skoglin, anything he's talking about here today, visit us online. The contact form comes directly to me. Tim, let me ask you a question here, though, on like property values.
Sure.
Like we get this question from CraigSewing.com on how do I choose a realtor? And my answer always is, there's many things you have to look at, but one is you really want someone who's an expert in that micro market, which is obviously where you are in Stonecrest.
Right.
But we're getting a lot of questions about home values. In the past, there was appraisal issues. Mm-hmm. You've seen this in the past. Explain the appraisal issue that you've recently seen.
Yeah, so for instance, we had a transaction in Stonecrest just a few weeks ago where market was moving very quickly. We had an open house introducing the property to the marketplace. Had 3 people at that open house want the home at a value of $560. We were listed at $565. So owner selected one of those people. We got moving along. First appraiser came through and appraised the property at $550 or just below, $549. And meanwhile, I had a floor plan that was just above that at $589 in escrow that did appraise already. So I already knew that I had the value was there. And the buyer consulted with me and said, why don't we have it reappraised, because it doesn't make sense to me even. And I don't want to get into...
You have multiple buyers making offers at a certain price point that all qualify, and then you have an appraiser that it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. But
something should be worth what people are willing to pay for it, especially when there's multiple people willing to pay for
That's
it.
That's the best measure of what fair market value is at that moment.
Yep.
A seller agreed, a buyer agreed to pay it. If you have
multiple buyers,
more buyers, it's even more of a concrete evidence as to what value is. But we had a second appraisal done. Same thing happened. It came in at the $550 mark. So the buyer got a great deal on the house, and the seller conceded and sold it at $550.
Interesting.
Closed the other one at $589. So the market bumped right after that. But that market still is not even close to where it was pre-Great Recession. 06, 07 values on this same home would have been mid-6s, even 660, 675. So still a lot of meat on the bone in some little microcosms throughout the county where people might feel like, hey, we're getting to the point where affordability is eroding and these things are happening, bubbles coming. I don't see it, because I see a lot of areas that are still primed to get in, long-term invest and hold, live and enjoy, but also see some equity on the other side.
Yeah, and you can always make a mistake, right?
You
so
can.
It's so important. And I know that we kind of opened up the interview and I was referencing the 20,000 real estate licenses, but when you're talking about your biggest investment in a contract with thousands of dollars in earnest deposit, getting specific advice on micro communities and understanding how many deals in Stonecrest? 325.
22 or
it's
something.
not a big area.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a lot, right? And so-
579 houses.
right. So I mean, and you're not just in Mission Valley, but that is an area where you are hyper focused.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you, are interested in that market or markets surrounding it, I really highly encourage you to work with a professional that knows that market, that has that track record, and really avoid someone who just has their license or a bus bench, or someone you found online. It's just so important. And Tim, you're one of the best. Been in the business. You got your 20th anniversary party coming up here soon.
Yeah, October marked 20 years, so it's been pretty, it's gone quickly. So it must be like a good marriage. If it's going fast, I must be enjoying it.
Yeah, man. Well, good to have you on the show. Thanks for
you.
helping us finish up here.
Yes.
If you want to connect with Tim, SkoglinRealEstate.com. He is a true leader in the industry. If you're looking to buy or sell, certainly in those areas, he's the man. A lot of information today. Hope you could take it all in. I know we kind of shoot you in the face with a fire hose, and I apologize for that. But look, if you have questions, it's really easy. Look, this is the show is designed by bringing in the elite experts of our marketplace to teach you how to win any marketplace. So you saw some of them on the show today. You can hear them on my radio show throughout the week on 1170 AM KCBQ. Check us out there. But take action. I never want you to have to worry again about misinformation. We have a 24/7 news cycle that just it lives on ratings and sensationalism. Well, what about things like your financial advice? We get our information from the news and online. That's terrible because with that misinformation, you can make big mistakes. It's my number one job. It's really to help you. So if there's anything you have questions on today, if you need any introductions for anything on that financial wheel or real estate, visit me online at craigsewing.com. Hit the contact form. I hope you can follow us on social media, and I will respond to you today. But in the meantime, get out, enjoy San Diego. We live in America's finest city. Get out, enjoy the day, and pick up a copy of Premier, our partner. They just had their biggest edition of their magazine this past month, and I did an interview, and I hope you can check it out. So congratulations to Premier and all your success. Go enjoy the weekend, and we're out here for today.